Hey guys, welcome to Box Office Addict 2.0, I guess, because last week I prematurely announced the end of the show, which was, I guess, an April Fool's joke. It's not like I actually wanted to quit and I hate all you guys or anything like that. I was just kidding. Just me kidding, as I always do. I'm just so crazy. I'm a wild and crazy guy. You know. Do you think, had Channel Awesome been successful, it would have been stuck around even with all the drama with the media censorship? I don't. Well, it has been six. Oh, if you mean the website, that guy with the glasses and Channel Awesome and all that stuff have been successful? Probably not. If it had actually become its own website and become a thing that was really prominent outside of YouTube and them having to go back to YouTube, I think they could have avoided where they're at right now, where everybody wants to attack them, because basically they're an easy target. There hasn't been an easier target in a long time than them, because for years people have had issues with Doug and Nostalgia Critic and a lot of the people that were involved with that guy with the glasses, and now it's all just coming out in one thing. I mean, I've seen, legit, I'm not kidding, I've seen at least 100 videos pop up in the last few days just covering the Channel Awesome thing, because everybody hates them so much. And a lot of people are going to say that it's jealousy, that people are upset that, oh, he gets millions of hits and he has a million subscribers and all this. It's not that at all. A lot of it is people that were fans or gave money to Channel Awesome or was invested in what was happening and then feels this high level of disappointment, not just in how Doug turned out as a content creator and as a businessman and entrepreneur, but how it affected the internet in general. It felt like at that time we might be able to break out and go against the mainstream media, against the corporate media. We might be able to control things our own way without any kind. But now we're on YouTube and we're being controlled again. YouTube can censor your stuff. YouTube dictates if you make money or not. I mean, you're basically a slave to Google. And there was an idea a few years ago it didn't have to be that way, but then everybody went back. Doug was like Icarus. He flew into the sun, and then the wings melted and he crashed down back into the earth, and that earth was YouTube. And that's what that video was about. A lot of people think I made that video to cover the Google document, which I did not. And a lot of people think I made that video as some ego trip. I was the comments to that video are absolutely bonkers, but some ego trip, narcissism, me trying to perpetuate my own greatness. But I was really talking about everyone, and I was including myself in that I'm part of the problem, that I didn't really, none of us evolved past a certain point. We're going, I mean, most of my videos are in avatar and images because that's what YouTube mostly is, or people sitting in front of a webcam. We didn't get higher production values. We didn't get better at writing. We didn't get better, and a lot of the people who had the money are the ones that I really hold accountable for this. We all just kind of went backwards. And you think about that game show Doug had that he had 50 grand for, and it looked terrible. It looked like he shot it in his garage with like a camera, like some home movie camera. It looked like home movies. He basically has been making home movies for a decade. And he could have really done something special, and I blame a lot of people like this. Phil DeFranco, he gets all that Patreon money. I'm not saying he scammed people, but I'm gonna build a set and all that. It's like, dude, you didn't build a set. You did, but it's just people sitting on a couch. That's not a set. You could have just kept filming stuff in your bedroom and got the same amount of hits. There's just so much people not understanding that YouTube doesn't have quality standards. I got so many comments on that video about like, how dare you criticize 89 grand, that's even worse. That's embarrassing. How do you blow $90,000 like that? And people said, well, how can you complain about production values when your video's like this? It's like, because I don't have $90,000 when I make this video. I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars when I make these videos. I do them in like a half hour. And then everybody was like, oh, come on, man. It's like, no, it's ridiculous. You have to look at those things contextually. The criticism is valid because Doug was bad with money. The more money you get, your production value should go up, and his looked even worse. I think he just pocketed a lot of the money because who could find out if he did or not? How could you find out if he didn't just put the money in his pocket and just shoot it with cheaper equipment? There's no way for any of us to know that. And if you look at Kick-Assia and all those other movies and how crappy they looked, Apparently, they used the $90K to cover up debts. That's the thing. Like, you could tell they didn't know how to manage the money. They didn't have a good accountant. They didn't have good lawyers. And it blew up in their faces. It was a bad business model, and it was poor money management. And this is where the James Rolfe criticism came. A lot of people came at me like that. Like, how dare you criticize James? I love James Rolfe, man. I've met the guy twice. Big fan. Great content creator. Arguably my favorite content creator. But he went to California, kept some script he wrote from 2008 that was a shit script, went out and shot a movie for $450,000 that looked like a movie that cost $30,000 when he could have just shot it in Jersey, made it like a low-budget horror film, done the Game Cop stuff, done him even playing E.T. Instead, he tried to do this big, epic, schlocky B-movie thing. He cast that sidekick character who's awful and that girl that is awful. And it doesn't even have a lot of the nerd humor, and it's over-plotted. It's all about plot, and there's a lack of... The pacing's awful. That movie's 2 hours and feels like 3 hours. The bad special effects and the B-movie stuff doesn't really come across. He just did a bad job making it. It's not a well-made movie. It is good that he did come up with a plot, but God, why didn't you rewrite that, James? Because it was ego. People said, oh, he wanted to stick to the E.T. thing and shoot it in the desert. No, he had an ego. He wanted to go to California and be a big boy and shoot a big Hollywood movie with a mech fight and all this stuff, and it looked like crap. It was poorly written. The dialogue is awful, and it's not as good as any of the best part of the movie. This is very telling. The best part of the movie is the final 10 minutes when he actually reviews E.T., when he actually just goes back to being the angry video game nerd. That's so telling. And that's the whole... God, I remember how awful the girl was in that movie. Her and that chick are having those cat fights, and it's just so poorly directed. And it was very revealing. And James makes these really good short films on no money, and then he gets all this money, and he makes something that looks like crap. There's a reason that film didn't get a large theatrical release. There's a reason that it's got like a 5.8 on IMDb. There's a reason that nobody talks about it, including James. And the same thing with Kick-Assio looks awful. And people get mad at me saying, oh, you said when you were 15 you learned. This is like, go watch the Kylo show. I shoot the Kylo show with very crappy equipment, and I do it very quickly, and it looks as good as any Channel Awesome video. As any of them. And Doug was blowing tens of thousands of dollars to make these things, and it just looked awful. And that was where a lot of the criticism came from. There was a lack of evolution that happened, and in many ways we've gone backwards. And that's where we're at now. No, the Angry Video Game movie, I paid for it. I paid $8 for that movie. I was just sitting there with my friends, and we were all huge fans and being like, man, this sucks. This sucks so bad. I didn't even ever review the movie because it broke my heart. I don't want to talk bad about James. It would make me feel bad. I'm such a fan. I would hate to make... And then people talk about production value. I get it on my videos. I go, listen, Chris Stuckman, who I'm not trying to crap on, he legit just sits in front of a camera and talks for 5 minutes and has 1 million subscribers. What is production value on YouTube? Nobody has production value on YouTube. Even Chris Stuckman's got to at least be worth a few $100,000. He gets millions of hits on a video. That dude at least has $500,000. He still shoots his videos in his bedroom with the posters behind him on like a DSLR, I guess? Am I supposed to be impressed? I mean, am I supposed to go, is that high production value, just using Final Cut Pro and cutting to very basic stuff? I mean, at least Red Letter Media kind of parodies and mocks that stuff. But I'm going on a tangent here that's separate from Box Office Addict. Doug is either the most incompetent person ever or pockets the budgets. Never don't be cynical or skeptical. Yeah, Kick-Assio was the best one, and that's the worst part. Because it was still terrible. Maybe he's like Tom Green. Tom Green was amazed those idiots gave him money for a movie that... No, because Doug's been documented many times for having this huge ego. And this is going back years this stuff was talked about. I mean, the guy who was the best editor and knew how to... was Spoonie. Spoonie definitely had the best editing and commentary out of anyone that was ever involved with that guy with the glasses. To Boldly Flee was 1/10th nightmare of a film. Oh, I've never finished To Boldly Flee. I just can't get through it. AVGN gets big props for going through with it and seeing it to the end. I mean, I give him credit for that, I guess, but that doesn't make it a good movie, and it shows that he wasn't pragmatic. Part of being a filmmaker and a director is being pragmatic. He wasn't pragmatic. He overreached. He went out and shot something that he couldn't shoot for $450,000 because it's so hard to shoot in California, especially with the taxes. If he'd have shot that in his hometown, the movie would have looked like $1 million movie. Brick by Ryan Johnson was shot for $300K. It looks like $1 million movie. And you got it. James should have scaled it down, looked at that script from 2008 and said, oh wait, I can't shoot this. I don't have enough money and I can't pull this off. And he could have rescaled it and rewrote it. It needed a rewrite. He wrote that script very early on in the Angry Video Game Nerd era, and he should have waited a while till he developed it. And that's the thing I'm criticizing. These guys aren't good with money. They don't know how to manage this stuff, and that's half of making movies and art. You can't just be good from a writing standpoint or understand these things. You also have to know how to manage the money. This is a key factor, and he was poor, and he was terrible at it. And a lot of YouTubers are. This is why they rely on YouTube, and they complain when they lose their ad revenue, and they're so upset when stuff happens, because they know they don't have anything else, that they're incompetent in so many other fields, and they're not. Let's bring up Jordan Peele. He directed Key and Peele, and those sketches were really well shot. Then he does Get Out for $4 million. Get Out looks like a $20 million movie. Then he wins the Academy Award. That's somebody with talent and someone who knows how to manage his money. You got to look at those kind of examples. Nobody on YouTube, outside of very few, like let's say Donald Glover, he actually started on YouTube, has shown that they can go to the next level and not just stick to this whole movie thing. I don't know if they don't take a film class, they never learned framing, they never worked on lighting. It just comes across that way to me with almost every YouTuber. And I'm not acting like I'm any better, but we still need to comment on this stuff. How many internet creators promised big and went through with it with their own movie? He even got a theater release, however limited. Several YouTubers have done that, actually. That's been done a lot of times, including Doug Walker did that several times. Just because you pulled off something that you promised doesn't mean it was good, and it also reflects that promise you made was probably a bad thing to begin with. Because James is really talented. James is really smart and really funny, and he made a bad movie. I'm not going to give him a pass just because he made it. That's ridiculous. That's like saying, you know what? Just because you made a movie, that's a good, let me give you the applause. That's the Ed Wood logic. It doesn't hold up to me. It doesn't hold up to scrutiny. If you can't make it, yeah, Creep. Creep was made on a low budget. Really good movie. If you can't pull it off, I don't care if you made it. I mean, good for him. He got people to give him a bunch of money and he made a movie. That doesn't mean that it's a good movie or that he was smart when he made it or that he didn't blow the money and make a bad-looking movie. That movie looks like crap. It's got horrible lighting. The lighting to that movie is dog crap. I mean, Noel's videos look better. Come on, people. Go watch Noel's videos. Did Video Game High School start on YouTube? I believe so. There are some people that are really talented that did go on YouTube, but for me, it was just a massive disappointment with these guys because I know they could do better. And then they didn't because once again, it was money management, and people forget about that. I don't think James knew how expensive it was going to be, which is upsetting because, once again, I'm a big fan. I couldn't be a bigger fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd, of Monster Madness, of his reviews and all that stuff. Rob Ager said recently on Facebook that he's seen a surge on his channels. I told him you're talking him up, Pat. Yeah, I helped his channel grow. That's for sure. I mean, once again, like, guys, I shot those, my shorts and stuff I shoot with no money looks just as good as the Angry Video Game Nerd did, and I shot those with very, very cheap equipment. And that's because, you have to figure it out. And it was very upsetting that James didn't seem to be much of a visual filmmaker, and that really disappointed me. Because I wanted to love I paid for it, and if I pay for it and watch it, I have the right to criticize it. I didn't watch the movie for free. And James hasn't really been able to live it down. People don't want to talk about this, but that was a big moment in the history of AVGN and for YouTubers in general. Yeah, Clerks is a great example. $27,000 budget. Not a good-looking movie, but great script, some decent acting, and Kevin Smith still pulled it off, even though he didn't. And he spent most of the money on just, like, music rights. He didn't even spend most of the money to film. Wait, you mean the anniversary stuff? I don't count those, as they had nowhere near as much effort put in them. More like feature-length. Yeah, but he still spent thousands of dollars on them, man. That was the thing. Doug is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and at least was at the time. He gets 1 million hits on YouTube. That means he's making tens of thousands of dollars. And he wasn't even paying people. They weren't even getting paid to work on that stuff. This is the lesson you learn when you watch a movie like The Disaster Artist and Tommy's walking around naked and nobody knows what's going on and he's spending $6 million and his movie looks like crap. It's because it takes talent to do these things. It doesn't matter if you have all the money and you have all the success. If nobody's in control and can't answer questions and doesn't know what they're doing, then you're nothing. You're nothing, and that's why you're never going to become a prominent filmmaker or artist outside of the YouTube bubble, which is fine, which is totally fine. Someone could buy a $750 DSLR and make it look good with good... Exactly. You can buy cheap equipment and make it look like a great-looking film, which I've seen so many times if you have talent. And these people reveal themselves not to have a lot of talent. I'm not saying James doesn't have talent. I think James just screwed himself going to California because money's just... It's just a bad idea to shoot stuff in California, basically. There's so many other places you would get a better tax break, and better locations and stuff like that. That was just a big mistake. Yeah, that's the thing. The thing is, that's the lesson you have to learn with this stuff, and that was what I'm trying to teach you. If we don't have higher standards, if we don't get better. Christopher Nolan's first film, Following, had a budget of $6,000. It did. Christopher Nolan's first film was shot for a few $1,000s, and it looks terrific. He did his own cinematography, and it's a terrific-looking film, well acted, well written, and that's the kind of guy that could go make $100 million movie, and it looks great too. That's all I'm talking about here. I'm not calling them hacks or anything. It's just they're not that great. They couldn't go to the next step, and it was disappointing. I'm not saying it as like an insult. It's disappointing. You want them to be able to go to the next level, and they failed. They failed at doing that, and that really affected a lot of that stuff, and it's upsetting. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not attacking them, but am I supposed to be impressed that a guy got a bunch of money and went and shot something with all the money he raised? No. Not when it's not good. I'd be impressed if it was good, yes. But just to get a bunch of money and go shoot something's not impressive. That's like you get a bunch of money and you go start a business and then your business fails in a couple years. I'm not impressed. Now, if you get some money and go open a business and it's really successful, and then you have a big business and you can hire, then sure, yeah, that's impressive. But not when you have the money and it doesn't pay off. No, that's a failure. That's failure 101. And the shot composition, from what I've seen, is pretty good. I haven't seen the movie yet. Have you ever heard of the movie Unsane? Well, it's directed by Steven Soderbergh, so yes, of course the shot composition's good. Steven Soderbergh's one of the best living directors. Yeah, you could say Sam Raimi shooting The Evil Dead for nothing, and doing amazing camera work and trying new things and doing all this great innovative stuff. That's the stuff that stands out to us. The Coen brothers making Blood Simple. I mean, come on, man. No, Ryan Johnson's more talented than Doug Walker. At least he knows how to frame a shot. The difference is the AVGN flick had enough effort and production put into it that it could pass for your average B-movie indie flick. Doug's anniversary stuff just looked like a long New York... I mean, I somewhat agree with you, but I think your bias and fandom towards James is clouding a lot of the points I'm making. I see you keep going on about this, and I'm a fan of you as a subscriber, but I think you need to kind of get over this cloud you have where you're trying to give a pass to the AVGN movie, which did get very negative reception, and it was all over forums. If you were on IMDb at the time, everybody in the forum was like, man, this sucks. And it got bad ratings across the board, and people didn't even want to talk about it. The AVGN flick, it had some production. I mean, I'm not saying James didn't put effort into it, but it's still bad. Yeah, no, it does. It does look like your DSLR. I know, Noel. It looks, and he had $450,000. It looks terrible for how much money was put into it. Okay, but let's get off this topic because clearly it's sensitive to a lot of people. People don't like when you attack their content creators that they love and all that stuff, and I get that, but the movie was baffling. It was just, it's one thing I would love to talk to him about is how he screwed that movie up. Yeah, but Brick looks great. That's the thing. Brick looks terrific for its budget. It looks like it cost 3 times the amount that it did. James' movie looks cheaper than what he had in a budget. It actually looks legitimately cheaper than what he had. Someone gave me $450,000. Jesus Christ. I would... We won't go into that because people think it's ego and all that, but we'll save that for another time. Let's actually get into Box Office Addict. It did have some fun stuff in it, I agree. But the whole like I made a bad B movie on purpose. That's like Space Cop. That's kind of a cop out for the fact you're not very good. I kind of hate that idea. Like, I intentionally made a bad movie, schlocky B movie. So it's okay when I do bad stuff. It's like, well, what's great about a bad B movie and schlock, especially back in the day, was that they weren't trying to make a bad movie. The guy who made Troll 2 thinks it's a good movie. Tommy Wiseau thought he was making a good movie, and then they come out bad. That's the brilliance of it. You can't go in intentionally trying to make a bad movie or a crappy film and pull that off. That's such a horrible mindset to go into. It doesn't feel organic like a classic B movie would, because a classic B movie was somebody with a lot of talent trying to make something good and they didn't pull it off. Not somebody who goes in like, you know what, I'm going to make the movie look bad on purpose because it's like these bad movies I like. Well, that's just you admitting you're a hack. That's going in with a negative mindset, isn't it? I mean, that's what's the what's the attitude with that? I've never understood that attitude. Well, he wanted to make it like a B movie. If you're going in trying to make a B movie, you kind of miss the point of a B movie. You know, you miss the whole point of it entirely. A Quiet Place has a real. Oh yeah, Quiet Place. Yeah, we need to get to the actual box office. I'm going on this whole thing, but that video did really well. It's got 15,000 hits, and it did put me over 8,000 subscribers this week. So we finally did it, gang. 8,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who's been part of this since the beginning, and thank you to everyone who's back and all that. I'm sorry if I offended any of you with this stuff, but I actually know a lot more about this stuff than I'm letting on, and I'm trying not to get too personal or go into things too much, but maybe we'll save that for another series of videos. I'm okay with you not liking the AVGN flick. I just think he deserves props for pulling it off and having to turn out all right. Not bad for the film novice with no real film experience prior. But he did have experience. His short films look better. I think James has made genuinely good short films. They're very well shot. They're very well edited. They're funny. I think a lot of the Angry Video Game Nerd episodes are better looking and better paced. I think the Friday the 13th one's terrific. I think he had a lot of experience. That's why it was so baffling to me. It's like he lost all of his skills when he was making it, or he got overwhelmed in the production. I love James' videos. I think he's a really talented guy. That's why it was so confusing. I mean, he was generally a very talented, and he had a good eye. And when I met him, we talked about that. We talked about cinematography and lighting and editing and all that stuff. I had several hours of conversation with him years ago. In Texas. He came down to the Iron Man of gaming, and we talked for hours. And he clearly knows movies. He's a smart guy. So it was just very upsetting that movie turned out that way. But that's the problem when you get more money. You got to be pragmatic, and he just wasn't very pragmatic with the money. He wanted to shoot all these action scenes and fight scenes and set pieces and have all these special effects, and that just dries your budget up. And then you don't have as much time to spend the money on the things that are really necessary. Spielberg should be put out to grass. To grass? Okay, but anyway, time for our sponsor of the week, which I needed to get on. Anyway, the sponsor of the week, once again, I know people. You're saying I'm selling out. Okay, folks? All right, folks? Okay, ready to talk about our sponsor? We're going to go on a 10-minute tangent about our sponsor, folks. Okay, this shirt I think is awesome. And I think you guys will like this one a lot more than the shirt last week. This is absolutely awesome. This is from Cult Film Video, which is a channel on YouTube that I am friends with. He only has like, I think 30 subscribers, and I think you guys should go subscribe to that channel because I have an announcement to make. We are going to be collaborating on some videos soon. We will be doing a Screen Champs, which I believe is going to be kind of a parody play on the movie fights, which, by the way, I would still love to go on movie fights and absolutely destroy. As Bathory said one time, if I went on there, it would be a massacre. Yes, it would. This isn't ego. It would be a massacre. I would love to put Dan Merle in his place with my in movie fights. But the challenge is out there, Dan. It's out there. Fly me out to California. I'll go on a movie fights or a schmodown any time. I will fly out to California anytime to go on a schmodown or movie fights and just show how incompetent all of those people are. How all of them are. They don't know anything. Do you remember that Screen Junkies where they asked everyone what their favorite French film was and they couldn't think of an answer? Nobody had an answer. They hadn't seen any French movies. It was hilarious. I would love it. I would love to go on there. It's amazing. But anyway, we're going to be doing a movie fights type show. It would be a Cinemassacre. We're going to be doing a movie fights type show. Then there's also Fantasy Movie League, which we're talking about doing, which I would be kind of the... It would be his show, but I would be a reoccurring guest. I would be kind of his top guest. The show would be, we pick, like fantasy football, we pick actors and characters and directors and make our own fantasy movies. Who should direct this? Who should write this? Who should be in this? And then we argue about it to figure out who's the best. And the fans get to vote on and stuff like this. So Screen Champs and Fantasy Movie League will be on Cult Film Video. Enter it in your search tab. I would love to see you obliterate the schmoes. I would love to obliterate them. It would be... I don't think they would know what's coming. It would really be an amazing thing. It would really be absolutely... Like, I would be so confident and cocksure. I would feel like Mike Tyson going into a boxing match. I've watched almost every Schmodown in movie fights, too. So I'm not saying this without the information. I've watched them so much, it's like, oh my god, this would be so easy. And now that they don't have Andy Pighor working there anymore to just give Dan a victory every episode because he was biased, I would love to go in there. And I actually think Dan's a pretty nice guy, and I think a good editor and is very important to that, but... I would love to challenge the champion and take his belt away from him. I'll even go this far. I wouldn't just win a movie fights. I would win big time. Like, it wouldn't be like we would split it. It would be like 7-1. And I'll put money down on that. I'll put $1,000 down on this. Let's do that. $1,000. Do you take the challenge, Screen Junkies? Probably not, because you don't know who the hell I am. But guys, remember, Cult Film Video. Please. Go help out Cult Film Video. And this wonderful t-shirt that was made by Cult Film Video. Fans never forget. Now, there's also going to be a Please Rewind version of this shirt coming out in the next few weeks where the hat will be a beanie that is resembling the beanie that I wear, and it'll say Please Rewind. That is, of course, the ghost holding Paul Feig's head, which was the start of this channel, was me talking about the 2016 Ghostbusters. As back in the day, even before Please Rewind. It's the ghost. Fans never forget. The hat does say Cult Film Video, but the hat's pretty cool, I think. This shirt's at a good price at $14.99. That's cheaper. And you guys have 21 days to get this. The link will be in the description. Please go buy this shirt. It supports this channel. It supports the other channel that I'm associated with. And there's a lot more merchandise coming in the future. We're talking hats. We're talking hoodies. We're talking more shirts. More cool designs like this. This one was made for you guys because I know you guys love seeing Paul Feig's head held up like that. We're kind of Kathy Griffining this, aren't we? And so this is awesome. So this is the sponsor of the week, folks. Okay? Okay, it's great. You get a deal. It's great. $14.99 for a shirt. You get to wear this. People see it like, oh, wow. That's cool. That's cool, folks. All right, gang? And very excited about that. Everything that's coming in the future. Long-time reigning champion, Pat. Oh, I still like... I think Movie Fights is so well formatted. It's a very well formatted show. It's just a lot of the people on there are just... They're pretty crappy. No, I'm not doing a Patreon, but this is kind of the... Shouldn't we want to forget that particular film? You should make a real-life version of a blue beanie. But we are going to make a real-life version of the beanie that says "Please Rewind." That is in the works right now, so I will do that for you guys. That is definitely the plan. But anyway, this shirt is the shirt. Cult Film Video is the channel. I'm going to be on his channel doing content that will be exclusive to that channel. So if you guys are fans of mine and you want to see me on something else, I will be on there. So, without further ado, let us get to the box office. Because we're what? We're 30 minutes in and I haven't talked about a single movie. I love it! I love it! Oh, God, it's so wonderful. Here I am complaining about all these other people being incompetent and I can't even run my own show. Anyway. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, is at $949 million worldwide. That's about at the end of its run. Should pass $950 million. That's with a $90 million budget. Last week we saw this film made $300 million of a net profit for the studio, which is Sony. Huge. The Greatest Showman which has now reached 420, man. 420 million worldwide, $84 million budget. This was a huge hit. Great multiplier, great for Hugh Jackman, and great for Fox, which is now owned by Disney, so I guess this is a Disney movie now. Let's check out where Red Sparrow's at the box office. Jennifer Lawrence. $69 million budget, not counting production, distribution, all that stuff. Still not made a profit yet at $137 million worldwide. Unfortunately. Game Night, $1.1 million this weekend, $67 million domestic, $104 million worldwide, $37 million budget. That is a modest success. I think very modest success, but still, good job. The Death of Stalin, $1.1 million, has made $5.5 million. I don't know what the budget of that film is, but very good job so far. That is from the creator of Beep and the filmmaker behind In the Loop. Peter Rabbit, $1 million this weekend, $273 million on a $50 million budget. If that makes $300 million worldwide, I think we could say it'll make a nice little profit. Not a huge profit, but a nice little profit. Let's check out where Annihilation's at. I don't think Annihilation has anything. It's still at the same place it was. So $32 million on a $40 million budget. I have a review for that movie up on this channel. Also, the Ready Player One review will be coming out soon. Sorry that's been taking so long. And me and Blood Money's podcast, Real Discussions, will also be coming soon, even though it's almost becoming like a running gag that I talk about this podcast and it never happens. So, don't hold your breath, I guess. Sorry, people. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. Tomb Raider is at $262 million worldwide on a $94 million budget. This could possibly make a little bit of a profit, but that domestic total of $55 million is abysmal and pretty much guarantees no sequel, I would imagine, because that means the second film would do even worse. This will probably cross $300 million worldwide, but if you adjust ticket price inflation, this is nowhere near close to the original run of Tomb Raider, the Angelina Jolie one from over a decade ago. All right, let me look through here. Sorry, I'm trying to run through these real quick so we can get to the big movies of the week. Love, Simon! The gay coming-of-age film is at $17 million budget, $37 million domestic, $42 worldwide, $11 million opening weekend. It made $2 million this weekend. This film's doing okay. It's doing a lot better than I thought it did. The marketing for this film seemed very small, so... A Wrinkle in Time is pretty much confirming its bomb status. This is a $103 million film. $150 million altogether, $50 million in marketing. $111 million worldwide, $90 million domestic. I also have a review for this movie coming out. I have seen this movie. I just haven't had time to review it. But there should be long reviews coming out for that and Ready Player One. So if you guys can just wait a little bit longer... Just a little bit longer, we'll get there. The Miracle Season, $4.1 million. I don't know what this is. What all these random movies been coming out all year? Okay, Isle of Dogs from Wes Anderson, $4.6 million. Also a review for this movie will be coming out. 56% increase. It's in 554 theaters. $12 million. This looks like right now it's outpacing Fantastic Mr. Fox. Because if I remember, Fantastic Mr. Fox did really bad. Yeah, Fantastic Mr. Fox only made $21 million on a $40 million budget domestically. And it looks like Isle of Dogs, which is still in limited release, basically, is already going to pass that. I don't know where it's going to reach its final total. It seems like audiences are liking it, and it hasn't opened everywhere internationally yet. But stop-motion films aren't the biggest thing, obviously. But Wes Anderson has really grown in the last few years. Grand Budapest and Moonrise Kingdom did very well. So, yeah, this film's doing okay as of right now. We'll have to wait and see when it opens over 1,000 theaters and where that's going to go. I actually think the plans Fox Searchlight had of doing this more limited and not just opening it wide was a good idea. They could have opened this wide, had an okay opening weekend, but this limited thing I think is actually building up more hype. They just have to be careful with it. And also there's so many big films coming out, in particular the #1 film that opened way above tracking and expectations. So Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs is doing adequate business. Pacific Rim, Uprising. It is an uprising at the box office. $150 million budget, $54 million domestic. That's a crappy domestic total. $267 million worldwide. They're probably... No, they haven't made a profit yet with that. This will have to make at least $350 million worldwide to do that, because you got to include marketing. But it could do that. It does seem to be having steep drops at the box office, though, so this doesn't seem to be the international hit that a lot of people thought it was going to be. Still, it's not as bad as I thought it would bomb even harder, but But I'm sure they were hoping in China, Korea, and all that, just in the Asian market, this film could make 400 million just there, and it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Sherlock Gnomes, 5.6 million, $33 million domestically, 45 million worldwide, $59 million budget. This film is still not a success, and I'm sure they have lost some money right now. Chappaquiddick, which is the Teddy Kennedy movie about, Teddy Kennedy leaving a girl, drowning her in a car to drown and die, and then not reporting it till 10 hours later. That whole thing that people like to forget. Democratic politicians have never done anything wrong. I believe it's Chappaquiddick. Yeah, Chappaquiddick. $6.2 million opening weekend. That's really not that bad. That's better than I thought it was going to do. $1.5 million. That's actually... I don't know what Miracle Season is either. I have no idea. Dishonored Wolf needs to lay off the drugs or alcohol before a show. Oh, does he do that thing that a lot of people do? They get drunk and high on a live stream. He can do what he wants, but I hate when people do that. They get their ad revenue, and they just get messed up. They're like, we're doing a drunk live stream tonight, and then it's just not that good. It's just a bunch of drunk people talking. That movie fight where they picked the next Spielberg was abysmal. Oh boy, was it ever. Yeah, Dishonored Wolf and Mahler did a show together recently. It was awful. Yeah, I'm a big fan of both of them, but I was a little disappointed in that. But, whatever. I don't watch their stuff for live streams. I watch their stuff because of the content they make. But I do really like his videos. I don't know if he actually knows that much about movies, but he seems to be very good at analytical, so he's very good at criticism. Yes, I did watch the movie fight where they picked the next Spielberg, and it was absolutely terrible. I really like, it's Mahler, right? That's how you say it, Mueller. I love his long-form content, yes. I love it. If you actually see on his Last Jedi video, the third one, I left a comment saying how much I liked it, and it's got like 400 likes. It's one of the most liked comments. I'm a fan. I guess he hasn't watched my stuff and he doesn't like me. I love that he shit on H-Bomber guy and revealed how manipulative that guy's videos are. Because people always tell me, oh, H-Bomber guy's really great. It's like, he's a good editor, but he's very deceitful. There's a lot of subterfuge going on there. He's trying to get a different... He uses every kind of sleazy tactic you could, like Michael Moore with his filmmaking and propaganda, to make you believe these things without actually providing any evidence or substance. He's just really good at crafting it to manipulate you to think that way. And Mahler exposed that with his Dark Souls 2 series, and that was awesome. Big fan. I would love to talk to him sometime. I think we'd have a great conversation, but... What are the thoughts on YouTubers dogpiling a Mundane Matt? I 100% support it. Mundane Matt makes boring content. He's boring. He's a crybaby. He has an ego that's just insane. He has over 100,000 subscribers, and his average hits are terrible. All those subscribers he has that he gained during the Gamergate skeptic era, I guess, have not held up. And he's been doing $3 theater, and he averages about the same hits I do, and I make a lot less videos. I mean, Matt makes like 5-6 videos a day. And I've been in that chat, and I'm not trying to be mean, but, like, Matt sucks. Matt makes bad content. Matt isn't interesting. He's not a good reviewer. He's not funny. He's really not funny. He has no comic timing, no good humor, and he just reads off news stories. Like, you could read the article and get it, and he drags it out to 9 minutes. I don't get why anyone ever subscribed to him to begin with. So everybody can mock him all they want. He's put himself in that place, too. Unfortunately. He's really put himself in that place. He's made some really bad decisions. Yeah, the world-class bullshitters. They have also we've never talked or anything like that. Yeah, I can't stand H-Bomber either, although very good editor. Yeah, I like Sinatra and Aiden. I won't go in. I really like Sinatra. So sometimes Aiden gets on my nerves, but I think that's just a personal thing. I don't think that's anything. She makes great content. I watch all of her videos, for sure. Yes, he did try to go after Aiden recently, which is a terrible idea because she has a lot of people that love her and come support her. And she's much more articulate, intelligent, and funny than Matt, so that was just a stupid idea in general. Hard Bastard offered him $1,500 to have a debate, and he turned it down. I would take $1,500 for anything like that. It's like, I'll go debate you, Hard Bastard. I don't care. Give me the... I'll be Matt in that debate. I will be Matt. I will come in and take Matt's stance. And debate for him just for the money. Please. Pat has 10.2 Matt a cuck who tell the Disney lawyers who let the Disney he didn't let Disney lawyers get to him. He just doesn't have any substance to him. He doesn't have any balls, basically. Apparently, an anime YouTuber, Digibro, has changed his name to Otaku Gonzo Journalism. That's a cool name. Pacific Rim Uprising was meh, and I love the first movie, but actually zoned out during parts when it was supposed to be action-packed. I take $10 for a debate. Holy shit. That's the thing. I don't even know what they were debating about. I would just take Matt's position for the money. I'll debate anything. I don't care if I know nothing about it. I'll go debate Hard Bastard. I really like Hard Bastard. I remember years ago, not years ago, but last year I sent him a DM on Twitter and I wanted to collaborate. And I said, hey, we could do a video together. That's back when he was like at 10,000 subscribers before he really blew up. Although his hits are about 2,500 on average. He does live stream though, so I guess our hits are about the same. But I wanted to collaborate with him, but it never worked out. And I have nothing negative to say. I really like Hard Bastard. I guess he just got caught up in other things. Kind of that group with Sinatra, Aiden, and him. I never really got in there. I tried. Sinatra used to like my tweets. I think Sinatra even followed me on Twitter at one point. I could be wrong, but I remember he used to like my tweets. And I was friends with Captain Cummings. Me and Captain Cummings used to talk on DMs, and we used to like each other's stuff. And he actually commented on a couple of my videos, but we never collaborated. I wanted to. I kind of got out of the politics. That was a factor. But I would love to talk with Sinatra, Hard Bastard, and then Mr. Medicure would be I would love to go on a Warski live stream and talk to him in particular. But whatever. It's a little in-club thing. I always wanted to talk and hang out with Naked Ape. Naked Ape was a big influence on me, and now Aiden does the Western Front with Naked Ape. So she pretty much got everything I ever wanted, which, good for her. Honestly, that's all I can say. Good for her. I would love to talk to Naked Ape on a live stream. I think we would just hit it off, so well. I think we would hit it off immediately. We agree on almost everything. But, yeah, I've never really been in a group. So I thought, okay, well, those people don't want me in their group, which, once again, they don't have to. I wanted to hang out with Sinatra and the white YouTuber and Aiden and Hard Bastard. And I guess they never really, knew me. And then I would love to talk to world-class bullshitters or Midnight's Edge or Mahler and them, but none of them seem to care about me either. I know Captain Cummings is currently deployed, but we did talk a lot. I mean, we had a lot of talks about comic books and stuff in chat, and we got along really great. I gave him a shout-out in one of my videos, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of his, and I was a fan of his way back in the day. By the way, Pat, I watched Annihilation because of your review. The bear scene, Jesus, I know, it's great. It's great. Man, I don't even watch Sargon anymore. I couldn't even criticize him. Sargon's so boring. Sargon's just a broken record. It's been doing the same thing so long now. I have nothing to even say about him. Sargon is so boring to me now. And that's fine. I'm sure he wouldn't care what I think. But I would... and I'm not trying to talk trash on any of these people. I wish I could have been invited. I don't know what happened. I never got invited to any of these channels. I did try to collaborate. I did message these people. I asked Sinatra if he wanted to. Now he's on Warski Live, so he doesn't need me. But back we used to all have about the same sub count. I don't think he's deployed right now, Cummings. I thought he was, but I swear I saw him on Twitter. But none of them ever wanted me to never wanted to do, probably because I didn't have enough subscribers, so there wasn't any benefit to it, or they all hate me because I talk trash. I'm probably just hated, which I can accept that people don't like me. But I think me and the world-class bullshitter guys would get along great. Oh my god, I think we would just hit it off immediately. I think all of us would go, especially the main guy. I really like the main guy behind that channel. Even though, they do just milk Star Wars videos and their sub count's just making a Star Wars video every other day. That's fine. They can do what they want. I like their stuff. I think they're funny, which a lot of YouTubers aren't. That's the thing. I can't keep up. I used to watch Hard Bastard, but man, he makes like these hour-long videos, and I just can't watch his stuff anymore. And I like his stuff, I really do, but back when I used to watch his stuff, they weren't all 2-hour videos uploaded all the time. It's like, man, I just can't do this. I can't spend my whole day watching Hard Bastard videos. And I'm a fan of his. It's just like, man, this is too much. I think he's very good at his research. Yo, man, love the channel. Please keep making videos. They're very interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Dolphin Boy. Look, it's a Dolphin Boy. Part dolphin. all idiot. I'm kidding, dude. I'm sure you're not an idiot. I would like to see you collab with these. Me too. I would love to see them collaborate with me. I think Captain Cummings can still post videos. Yeah, Captain Cummings was on a live stream with... He was on a live stream with V. Hello, Captain Cummings. Hello, I love your videos. Don't you dare talk bad about Sargon. Sargon is the best YouTuber ever. He is the best YouTuber I have ever seen. Sargon will lead the liberalists into a new future, a utopia. Against all of the SJWs. I will not put myself into your internet blood sports, for I am V. Do not challenge the V. I'm a Romanian doctor. Look at all these books behind me. I'm so smart. I'm so smart. You're smart? You're charismatic. You just need the subs. You'll get them. Thank you. Now I won't commit suicide. I appreciate it. I hope this helps you out. Thank you, V. Oh, yes. I love your channel. I love your channel so much, Pat. I love your channel too, V. You're great. You're great too, Pat. Oh, where's Dave Cullen? Oh, hi, Dave Cullen here. Oh, Marxism. You're a Marxist. Do you know that, Pat? You're a damn bloody Marxist. Oh, come on, Dave. I'm not a Marxist, Dave. You know you are, Pat. He's not a Marxist. Come on, Dave. Okay, folks. Okay, I don't want to just hear Marxism thrown out there like that, all right? Oh, Ben's here. Jesus. God, everyone's here right now. Yeah, folks. Okay. Do you guys think I don't watch your content? Okay, I have more subs than all of you. I get more average hits, more hits on average on my podcast. Okay, gang? And you guys need to get your stuff together. What's this liberals thing, folks? It's a group, Ben. It's a group that we started to fight the cultural Marxist. We have to defeat them. You think we defeated social justice because of Trump, but we didn't. We didn't defeat anyone. Guys, I just talk about movies. What's going on here? Jesus Christ, calm down. Calm down, people. Cultural Marxism. Everything's Marxism to Dave Cullen. Don't hold back on V. V is Mr. Eccentric. V sounds Irish. V sounds Irish? Hello, I'm V. I wouldn't say that's Irish, but okay, we'll go with that. Blue Apron, folks. It's all about the Blue Apron, okay? It's all about the Blue Apron, folks. That's all that matters. Honestly, if it were up to me, I would have collaborated with Dishonored Wolf and have the two of you talk about... Oh, I would love to collaborate with Dishonored Wolf. That'd be absolutely amazing. I think he's very funny. Once again, I think all these people hate me or they don't know I exist. I remember I was in a Mundane Matt chat once, and he goes, people keep mentioning Please Rewind. I don't know who this is. And then he clicked on it, and he was like, oh, you get a lot of hits. Good for you, man. And I was like, yeah, Matt, yay. Thanks for the shout-out, I guess. It didn't help at all. But, I think I can do a better V voice. I think you couldn't do a funnier V voice, which is the problem, Fallen Angel. You misunderstand. Impressions suck because they're not funny. Rich Little's not funny. A funny impression is an exaggeration of someone's voice and their personality. My Ben Shapiro doesn't really sound like Ben Shapiro, but it's a funny take on Ben Shapiro's voice. Learn your shit, Fallen Angel, or I'm going to have Bathory mute you. And nothing would hurt more. Because my V's hilarious. And yours would be boring. Because you're boring. That's why nobody watches anything you make and you're in my chat. You jerk! Anyway. Too mundane. Braving Ruin is still good, probably. Probably. I used to love all these people until they began repeating the same shit over and over again. That's why I quit doing the politics, man. You just start sounding like a broken record. It's really that issue. I'm just messing with you, Fallen Angel. Hey, Bathory, actually mute him. Do it. I don't care. Do it. Do it right now. And I'm serious. I'm 100% serious right now. Mute Fallen Angel right now. For me, for your God, for your daddy, right now. I want this. I want to see it. I want to see it right now. No, I don't care if he's your future husband. You mute your husband right now, damn it. Don't make me get blood money in here. No, I'm not high. Jesus Christ. Everyone thinks I'm high. I can just talk really fast because I think really fast, because my mind works very quickly, because I know what I can say and do, and because I'm confident in what I say and what I can do. I don't need drugs to get to that accelerated place that other people do. Pat's a bully stream. We're here to bully. Internet blood sports. Good old internet blood sports. Pat's on a power trip. I know, guys. I gotta stop. I gotta get off the... 8,000 subscribers. I've made it. I've made it, damn it. I'm at the top now. I thought you stopped politics because your family was threatened. There's many reasons I stopped, but yes, I just don't like to keep bringing that up because that was very personal. That stuff happened to me in my real life. That was, Emperor Pat. Where's Blood Money? Does Blood Money know Fallen Angel, where his story's going? No, everyone always thinks I'm high. I get it every Sunday. People think I'm over here, like, speeding or something because I talk really fast. Everyone in my family talks this fast. It's just how we talk. But it's hilarious. Pat, teach me your ways. Please, Master Pat, I need to know. I'm glad I'm too insignificant to be bullied. No one is. Will you debate vegan gains? I would, I guess, but I actually agree with veganism. I think the science is pretty backed up on it. So I don't know what we would debate. I guess I would make fun of him. What if I threaten your family? Would you do if you don't do more politics? It wasn't necessarily my family got threatened. That's an exaggeration. I own a business where I live, and people were trying to make my business get hurt. By my politics and claim I was a Nazi, and I was getting threatened with violence. One guy threatened to come hit me at my business, and this became a big thing on Facebook, and then he posted my information on Reddit. That was what a lot of my personal information started to come out, and he found my videos and was trying to expose me. And unfortunately, you can't come out as someone who doesn't hate Donald Trump or someone who doesn't agree with the liberal mindset. Shows us the way on the Pat, 10.2. East Coast speed, baby. A southern boy with East Coast speed. Hey, Pat. Does China even care about Hollywood anymore, or is it Hollywood who is trying to pander to China and failing to do so? It is Hollywood trying to pander to China and failing to do so. That is correct. This is a business? No, I have a business. I run a business in my real life. I have a big boy job. And I do YouTube as a hobby. But in my real life, the YouTube started to mix with my real life. Because when people found my channel and my political videos, I'm a closet conservative where I live. I can't tell anyone here that if I told a lot of people around here that what I actually believe politically, that I was libertarian, that I leaned conservative, that I didn't like Hillary Clinton, I would have got attacked. My business would have been very hurt by this, so I had to hide this. And then it just got to the point I couldn't do the videos anymore. It would legit hurt my livelihood, because my livelihood is my business and not YouTube. And it's just not worth it at the end of the day. And plus, I like talking about movies more anyway, and I know more about movies than I do politics. Ben Shapiro. Pat, you need drugs, okay? The great Shapiro is idolized by millions. You think I don't do anything, okay? Get Blue Apron, everyone. Okay, folks? Is your business drug dealing the pot? Well, if you think this is what it's like when you're on weed, you need to do more drugs, my friend. Pat, you're libertarian too? Of course I am. Libertarian's the only logical way to be. Everybody should be libertarian. Where's Bathory? Did she mute Fallen Angel? Alright, I'm gonna have to make someone else a mod, so they'll mute Fallen for a little while. Okay, who wants to be a mod? I guess I can make Fraser a mod. Alright, Fraser, here we go. Hold on. Fraser, let's see here. Add moderator, there you go. Okay, Fraser, if Fallen Angel says anything, you mute him, alright? You're a mod now, because Bathory can't do her job. Which is just driving me absolutely crazy. I pay her nothing, and this is how she treats me? I mean, what's the deal here? It's absolutely bonkers. I'm in love with this movie. What with, Oh yeah, Ben Shapiro did an interview with this on, what is it, Chappaquiddick? Yeah, he did an interview with the guy behind this. Would you have voted for Sanders? No! No, I wouldn't have voted for Sanders. Am I an insane person? Am I an insane person? Come on. No, by the way, is great. That's a lot of responsibility. Well, damn it, Frasier. Am I going to have to do a raffle here to see who's the next one? You don't... There we go. Yes! Yes, Frasier. Yes! I love it. Okay, you don't have to do that anymore. Just that we got that one out there was fun. How do you like that, fallen angel? Oh, he keeps doing it. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, you can unhide him. That was just one. That was funny. Man, it's great to be a god. It feels really good to have god powers. I swear to God, I'm going to create infighting amongst you. I'm going to do some Game of Thrones Lannister shit. Would you have voted for Ron Paul? Yeah. Of course I would have. I muted and then unmuted you. That was enough, Frasier. That was enough. You went to the danger zone, my friend. You went to the danger zone. Danger zone. Sanders, a man who could make college useless in one swift stroke. You mean college isn't already useless? I didn't know there was a time college was not useless in recent history. All right, but anyway, $6.2 million for the Ted Kennedy drowning movie, you know? So good opening weekend. Tyler Perry's Acrimony, $8 million. $31 million domestic. I don't know what the budget for this is. Probably not that high, though. So this is actually done pretty well. Although that's a pretty steep drop of 53%. I Can Only Imagine. The Christian movie with Dennis Quaid. $8.3 million. $69 million domestically. $7 million budget. This film's doing really, really well. I might go just see... I might just go see this movie for the hell of it. Black Panther, still stepping into the spotlight, $8.4 million, $665 million domestically. What the hell, man? This just passed Titanic to become the third biggest film domestically at the box office, because that would be Force Awakens, Avatar, and then this, unadjusted for ticket price inflation. I think adjusted, it's all Steven Spielberg movies and Gone with the Wind. Anyway, right under $1.3 billion, but it's basically there. This is about to... should pass Last Jedi. It will not pass the first Avengers worldwide, but it definitely did domestically. Hey, just because American college is garbage, don't lump STEM students in there. I'm sorry, I am talking about American college. I don't know about the global... I am being very specific to what I know about the American economy and the American education system. So let me make that clear. I'm not talking about college all over the world. You know. You got what Matt doesn't. A personality. Yeah, somebody said on my Channel Awesome video, they said, how do I have to keep seeing these charisma-less videos? And I go, that video does like charisma, but I don't know. I think I have charisma. But maybe I don't. My grades are trash. Hey, good for you, Zero Night. Cheat the system any way you can. A degree with the C's the same as a degree with A's. Who cares what people tell you? What do you think about college? I think it's a scam. Unless you go for very specific things like being a lawyer, an accountant, a doctor, medical fields, most other things is a waste of time to go spend your money and owe this debt. Pat, did you see The Quiet Place? Not yet, but I would like to see it. It's very critically acclaimed. Jim Halpert made it. The only thing that would make the movie better is if it was him and Pam were out in the woods with the kids and they had to stay quiet. That would be the only thing that makes it better. You've been warned. Fallen Angel. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I went up and read it wrong. Pat has the 10 point. I love Fallen Angel, by the way. It's because I love him that I do this. It's like spanking your child. Okay, you only spank them because you love them so much. Later, I'm going to go off and cry because of what I did. I feel awful. I feel absolutely awful. And I still want to be the one who marries him and Bathory. I will become an ordained minister and marry the two of them. And I will wear my Please Rewind outfit to the wedding. Just for it. Humanities studies are basically full of druggies, but STEM has to work our asses off. I know you work your ass off, Bathory. I know you're very smart, and I know you do a lot of hard work, and I hope you're very successful. That's why you were my first moderator, because you're a sharp cookie. Pat, is it time for an IQ test? Average IQ, Patsky, must be confirmed. I've had an IQ test, and not an online IQ test, by the way. I'm going for filmmaking. That's a rare opportunity when I won't have debt. You're going for computer engineering? Well, that's not a bad thing to go to school for, man. All my friends who went for that make pretty good bread. I have one friend who makes like 80K a year right now with computer engineering. Law is actually good if you bother to put the work in. And you have to go to a good school. If you want to be a lawyer, you really have to go to a good school, or you're not going to be making that much money. You'll basically just be doing a bunch of paperwork. I'm very charismatic, like Daisy Ridley. Aw, thanks. Thank you so much. I want to be a DJ for Bathory and Fallen Angel's wedding. Sweet. We got it all funded now, man. Pat's my secret gay lover while Bathory goes off to be all, woman science-y. Woman science. IQ tests do not count if you were a kid back then. Well, I wasn't a kid. Some of you may not know this. Blood Money is actually a member of the 999 Society and has a Mensa, and actually has a card, and we've discussed this many times. I believe he has a 162 IQ. I could be wrong, but Blood Money, people I know are actually in the 999 Society Mensa, so I'm not talking about me being a little kid with an IQ test. I'm talking about people that actually have high IQs and actually taking the actual test. And I think one of the best ones you could take is in the military, is the military issued one. Pat, do you... Oh, hold on. Pat, do you just get the video I sent you where Daisy Ridley says, Ray? Yeah, I saw that video. Thank you for sending me that. You're flat-chested. I actually have a bigger chest than Daisy Ridley. I'm not nearly as flat-chested as she is. I miss my college days so much. If I had one wish granted, it would be to restart my college years. That or $5 billion. That would be great, too. I can't. I get straight A's in college, right up until math. Dude, you're a very smart guy, Frazier. I've seen your videos. I've seen you talk, and you're absolutely... It's not ego, it's just true. I'm not saying, like, having a high IQ makes you smarter, better than other people. A lot of the people on the 999 side are like janitors. They're like janitors. They don't make money. Having a high IQ doesn't mean you're going to be successful or that you make money or anything like that. That means absolutely nothing. Legit, a lot of them, people with high IQs, aren't successful. It's not like high IQ equals money or people liking you. So that's not... that's just, yeah, don't mistake the ego, but somebody was bringing up the IQ test thing, and I was just explaining that it wasn't based off my childhood or anything like that. I was just responding. I wasn't trying to come off egotistical. Also, I'm kind of playing things up today. I'm kind of messing around. I'm just trying not to be super nice guy Pat today. I'm trying to be a little bit like the a-hole host or something like that. More Alex Trebek, you know, when he condescendingly answers the questions for people when they get them wrong. Not the Wheel of Fortune guy, Pat Sajak, where he's really nice to everybody. Yes, Blood Money is in 999, yes. Blood Money is a legit genius. One reason why I want to do the podcast with him. Me and him have the best film conversations I've ever had. Oh, yeah, I did see the article about Raleigh Ringwald and John Hughes. I plan on doing a video on that article. It upset me. I did an IQ test at the military, and they wanted me as a drone pilot. Well, hey, good for you, man. Is IQ sort of an arbitrary measurement of one's intellect? I wouldn't call it arbitrary. It's more of how much you can process information. It's not necessarily means that you're some genius at math, or you're going to be graded out, or you could be an astrophysicist or something like that. I don't really like The Breakfast Club either. It just shows that you can process information very quickly and think very quickly, and you can understand complex things. That doesn't mean you can... it is overrated. That doesn't mean that you can apply them, but that's all it shows you. It's how you can gauge things and how much information you can process. That's it. That's all IQ is. IQ doesn't mean that you're going to go be some genius, or you're going to go be a top scientist, or you're going to go be some successful guy. It doesn't mean any of that. People misunderstand that all the time. High IQ does not mean that at all. A lot of people with high IQs have nothing going on in their lives, are very depressed. So that's not, but, so I don't want people to think I'm trying to say IQ means superiority. It doesn't. I don't think that at all. And it's just not backed up either. It's not backed up with the statistics. I mean, There's some correlation, but not really. I mean, think about how many, like, if you're an athlete, you don't have to have an IQ to be a millionaire athlete or something like that. There's things like that where IQ doesn't really connect. But typically people have a decent IQ if they're in a profession in let's say the sciences or medical stuff like that. That typically. For me, the reserves is looking pretty right now. What happened with the breakfast? Molly Ringwald was saying that John Hughes films were sexist and racist and misogynist and all this crap. She wrote this big piece for the New York Times. Don't know. Couldn't be arsed to read the articles. Yeah, she basically went after 16 Candles, which does have this kind of creepy, rapey sequence that I can't deny. The Breakfast Club, slasher films from the 80s. Okay, Pat, I forgot. IQ, what about occupation? I don't know what you mean. What do you mean by occupation, specifically? Do audiences really care about Olive Dog's cultural appropriation, or is it just a bunch of elitist journalists being contrarian in response to an acclaimed movie? That's exactly what it is, which is what I said in my video. Anyway, I need to get back to the box office. I'm going on all sorts of places here. And acting absolutely crazy. Anyway, Black Panther's doing awesome. Blockers, $21.4 million. That's actually a really good opening weekend. This is John Cena and Leslie Manor, and this is where they're trying to keep their daughters from losing their virginity on prom night with the Virginity Pact. $21 million budget, $21 million opening weekend. Well-reviewed film, did really well at South by, I believe. $32 million already domestic. Seth Rogen produced this with Evan Goldberg. This should honestly be a hit. If it keeps going where it started right now. And this is really good numbers. So credit to John Cena and everyone involved with this. This looks like it's going to be a successful movie, at least off the opening weekend, getting very good reviews. Oh, Gibiani's in this. The body Gibiani from The League. I've not seen this movie. I will probably not see this movie. But having said that, I'm happy that it's doing well. The Dragon Slayer. Nobody in real life cares. High IQ can also lead to losing your mind. I don't think that's true. I think it can maybe screw with you a little bit, but you probably have to have a really high IQ. Because it gets a little iffy when you get past like the 140 mark. It's hard to gauge between the 140 to like 170 area. It's hard to really figure out. I really like Superbad. I think Superbad has the most realistic party scene in teen movie history. Not the final party, but the party that they go to out in, like, the middle of nowhere, that might be the most realistic party I've ever seen in a movie. No, it is. I've never seen a party that real. That's exactly what it's like to go to parties, especially when you're, like, a high school kid and you go out to some crazy guy's house. Hey, Pat, I made a Memberberry 1 poster and sent it to Podcast Discord that I follow, which gave credit to me, and they posted on Facebook. Well, hey, good for you, man. You make really fun stuff. That's awesome. I think Superbad's held up. A lot of people hate on it, but I think Superbad is that our generation's Dazed or American Graffiti or anything like that. It captured the 2000s, being a teenager in the 2000s. Well, I hated losing my mind after the military classified me a high IQ. I was 45K with 3rd Infantry. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry that things went bad for you, man. I'm sorry you lost your mind. Hopefully you got it back. I hope you got it back. Isn't sign of intelligence based on occupation exit is doctor automatically smarter than someone the same age that works fast food? I mean, typically, yes, someone who is a doctor is smarter than somebody who sells fast food, yes. I didn't know if you meant literally occupation, job, or you meant something else. But yes, typically you got to have a head on your shoulders to get through med school. That's not always true, but yes, it's very tough. I'd say you can't be a dumb person and become a doctor. I would imagine that would take a certain level of intelligence. There's a lot of schooling. There's a lot of stuff you have to remember. A lot of tests, too. It's very tough. And years of schooling as well. You know, now that I think of my YouTube channel, I just post videos of my art and me making art. Well, you should do that, man. That's awesome. I'm really happy. I love your stuff, too, by the way. I think it's great. I've successfully steered clear of sketch parties. Yeah, but man, I gotta say, that Superbad party is so realistic. I mean, it's crazy. It's Blood Money. Me and Blood Money had this whole conversation about this once. How Superbad has the most realistic party scene. I rejected my pension because, shit, my screen's just, my EI hated the war. Oh, okay. Because do you mean I hated the war, or is EI what you meant to put? Let's see. I'm going through here. It's a lot. A lot of you guys are typing, so it's hard for me to keep up. I gotta go, guys. See you around, Pat. You have a good time. Thank you for tuning into the show. I appreciate it. You know, now oh, wait, sorry, but he's here chatting with us, so maybe he hasn't. Mumkey's short films look better. Hi, I'm late. Death is never too late. I wish death would wait as long as possible to show up. I don't like death coming early. Even though I do. Oh ho! No, I'm still insane, but the world is more insane than me, so I guess that's a comfort. I have schizophrenia, phantom voices, visions of sonar, migraines. They gave us a lot of experimental drugs. Man, Jesus! You sound like you're in like a David Lynch movie. Holy crap. That's insane. Sean, any Norwegian movies? I personally am not a fan, and I'm from Norway. Oh, cool. What are you talking about? Wait, Sean. What is Sean in here talking about Norwegian films? You love you too, Pat. I do. I love myself so much. Oh my god. Alright, anyway, let's talk about Ready Player One that is an international hit. This film is becoming an international hit. Domestically, it's just doing okay. $41 million opening weekend, $25 million second weekend, 40% drop, which is very good. That's decent. The film should be able to make 130 to 150 million. But look at this international total. 294 million. This completely makes the making of this movie, which a lot of people thought was going to bomb, myself included. I said this film would bomb, or at least it would domestically. I said its opening weekend would be bad, around 35 million, which it was close to. But I didn't even consider how well this film would do internationally, which just makes sense because it's a visual spectacle. So in 2 weeks, it's made 300 million. This film could make 400, 500 million just at the foreign box office. So we're looking at a film that could end up with over 600, most likely will end up with over 600 million worldwide if it keeps going here. So for a movie that's budget, I'm guessing is around 150 million. I'm not sure exactly what the budget to Ready Player One is. Does anyone know? I would love for somebody to tell me that. I also like Troll Hunter Bathory. Has Spielberg ever flopped? Yes. The BFG was a flop. 1940... I think 1941's the movie, not 1942. That was a bomb. Always didn't do that great. I think it made a little bit of a profit. Amistad did not make a lot of money. Munich didn't do very well either. So there's quite a few of his films that haven't made, but he's still the most successful director in movie history. Okay, so Spielberg is now more of an international name. No, it's not that he's more of an international name. It's this specific movie is better suited for international audiences than I think domestic audiences. We were relying on the nostalgia, I think they were, for the domestic, but I have not watched oh god. I have not watched it, no. I have not watched his videos or anything like that. I've not seen A Quiet Place, but I plan on seeing it. I haven't had the time to go see it, but I do plan on going to see it. Ready Player One had a budget of 170. Man, that's a steep budget. That's a steep ass budget. Okay, so let's see. 175 million. If it makes 600 million worldwide, they should make a profit. I mean, they should be able to make a profit at 500 million worldwide, and that should be a guarantee at this. It should be a guarantee at this point. So 391 million worldwide so far, 175 million. So yeah, what did you say, Bathory? 62 million opening in China. That's huge. If it can keep up good word of mouth, which I could definitely see, this is going to be a big hit. And this will be Spielberg's highest grossing film since Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Disaster Piece? I like Disaster Piece. I think they make good music. I don't have much else to say besides that. The CGI doesn't justify the budget from... I agree. I don't really know how... it doesn't look like a $175 million movie to me. It looks like it cost $120 million. But I guess it, they did build a lot of stuff. Spielberg, yeah, I like the Red Letter Media review. Spielberg actually like made it where they all wore Oculus Rifts and the actors could see what they were going to be filming before they shot it. And then he had this remote controlled camera rig where he could move the camera anywhere, with the actors in mocap suits. So they did develop a lot of things and use a lot of expensive equipment to make this movie. So I think that probably factored into the budget. And the fact that they shot so much of it on stages and stuff like that, and in these studios, I'm assuming all that was very expensive. I think it was a long. I mean, Spielberg. It's funny because Spielberg always comes in under budget and under time. He's usually much better with his budgets than this. I mean, he's usually like a guy who can shoot $100 million movie and make it look like a $200 million movie. So I am kind of confused by this. They probably paid a lot for cameos. Oh, that's true. We have to factor that in. They had to pay for the music rights. I mean, there's a bunch of 80s songs in there, and then they had to pay for the stuff that probably wasn't owned by Warner Brothers. So I didn't even consider that. That probably ties into the budget. I mean, they even had Van Halen in there and stuff. So I'm sure all those factors included is what made the budget so high. I didn't even consider that, the music rights and all that. Hollywood is embezzling harder and harder, especially Lucas firms. They just stole the money. They just stole that money. Spielberg should make more blockbusters, less Oscar bait. I agree. I'd prefer if he made some more blockbusters. Variety says Ready Player One has made $143 million in China. Wow, this film is doing really well. I mean, it makes sense it would be doing well with the Chinese audience. I totally get it. And it's universal. I think that was a smart part with this movie, keeping it so much in the Oasis, is that it can translate across the world even if you don't get all the references. What is Verhoeven up to nowadays? He made a film a couple of years ago, Elle, that was absolutely terrific. It was one of his best films. I would say a Hitchcockian meets Brian De Palma, which is basically just Hitchcock. It was like a modern-day Brian De Palma film. It's absolutely terrific. I would highly recommend it. I don't even want to spoil it. Terrific movie. I'm a huge fan of his work too. But he made a French movie. It was a French film, I think 2 years ago. It was nominated for Best Actress and I think Foreign Film. I would love to see his version of Ready Player One. It'd be a lot more gory. That'd be awesome. Spielberg is the best director of blockbusters that there ever been, but his style is usually too sentimental for me. He definitely does lead on the sentimentality, yeah, for sure. I'm not against sentimentality and stuff. I like that. I think Cameron Crowe pulls that off beautifully in something like Jerry Maguire or Frank Capra, my favorite show, The Wonder Years. John Hughes. I think you can get away with sentimental, but Spielberg does really love the schmaltz. He really, really loves the schmaltz. Personally, I think Hollywood pays actors way too much money for simply spitting out. I agree, but they get paid because they sell the movie. The actors sell the movie internationally, and a lot of people go to see movies because of actors. That era's kind of dying, but that's why they get paid so much. Robert Downey Jr. gets paid so much because if he wasn't in it, it wouldn't make as much money. It's sold on him. Although Black Panther kind of debunks that theory now, so Marvel might reconsider that. Who do you think could make a more modern Hellraiser movie if they weren't effed up by Dimension Films? David Slade, the director of Hard Candy, 30 Days of Night, and worked on the show Awake and Hannibal. I think he could do a good job directing a Hellraiser movie. Yeah, he'd be a really good choice, actually. If Clive Barker writing the screenplay, and I'm a huge Clive Barker fan, great novelist. Almost all of his books are great, and his short stories are absolutely terrific. Yeah, it's too schmaltzy, but when Spielberg doesn't lean on the schmaltz, man, like that second act of Schindler's List that has no schmaltz in it till the third act is incredible filmmaking. The main chunk of Saving Private Ryan until the third act is incredible. Close Encounters, which really doesn't have a lot of schmaltz, I'd say, is his art film, and Truffaut being on the set and I think influencing him on that film. Duel, not an ounce of schmaltz. Jaws, none. All incredible movies. All wonderfully crafted, up there with David Lean films. Absolutely wonderful. People want to watch The Last Jedi because Mark Hamill was in it and because it's had Star Wars in it, not because of the director. I completely agree with you. I agree with you on all. I agree with that assessment. I think that's very good. All right, anyway, Ready Player One, man. I mean, this is doing really good. Let's see where it stacks up in Spielberg. Now, this is not adjusted for ticket price inflation. E.T. made 1.3 billion. Jaws made 1.1 billion. Jurassic Park made. I mean, these movies, no one's even come close to what Spielberg's done when it comes to box office success. But without adjusting the ticket price inflation, this is not too far. It should pass Jaws and Last Crusade. It should be able to pass. If it can pass War of the Worlds, that would be really great. And if it could even pass The Lost World and just be under E.T., that would be pretty crazy. Spielberg worldwide has made $9.9 billion. This film should put him over $10 billion worldwide as a director, which is huge. This so let's go check the post real quick because I didn't do an update on that film. That film actually it made $168 million, which did put it ahead of Bridge of Spies. So overall, that film did end up doing very well because I believe Bridge of Spies made $165 million. So they did about the same. The BFG was a bomb. Warhorse did okay. 1010 did just okay. Domestically, not so great. The Terminal didn't do that great domestically. It made money worldwide. So, yeah, like I said, Amistad. Not all of his films have done amazing. Empire of the Sun was definitely a bomb. I believe this film cost like $40 million. Only made $22 million. The Twilight Zone movie didn't do that great. So Spielberg hasn't always made hit movies, but for the most part, everything's been very successful, including Lincoln. Lincoln was a big hit. So that international box office, which just is turning into a giant hit there, especially in the Asian markets, this film should at least make $500 million worldwide. So kudos to Steven Spielberg, Warner Brothers, everyone involved. Even if it's not blowing up the domestic box office and it's not going to make $200 million, you don't need to. It's still a successful movie. And they justified adapting Ready Player One. So good job, everyone involved. I'm very impressed. He definitely shouldn't have made ND4. I agree. If you meet Steven Spielberg, what would you talk to him about? What would you say? I would love to talk to him about the Twilight Zone incident and when Vic Morrow and the kids died. I'm not kidding either. Me and Blood Money are obsessed with that. That's specifically, if I could talk to him about anything, it would be that. I would talk to him about the Twilight Zone incident with the helicopter. 100%. I would go to it as if I met him. That's what he wouldn't talk to me about it, but I would ask him. I go, hey, what was it like killing 2 kids, Steven? If you met Steven Spielberg, that's just so funny because it's so true. That's exactly. I wouldn't ask him about Raiders or E.T. I would just be like, hey, what was the time you killed Vic Morrow and 2 kids? See, everyone, this shirt that I'm selling, that's not Paul Feig's head. That's Vic Morrow. Oh. All right, here we go. A Quiet Place Makes Noise, my clickbaity title. This is the box office film of the week. This film has now had a bigger opening weekend than Get Out and Split. Split had a $41 million opening weekend, Get Out $33 million. Both were huge hits, low-budget horror movies. Blumhouse produced. Annabelle, Creation, did huge. Horror is not only back, it's bigger than it's been in years. All these horror movies are doing huge. This is a $17 million film directed by John Krasinski, Jim Halpert from The Office, and starring his wife Emily Blunt. This is his 4th film, I believe. None of his other films made any money. This film has 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. It got a huge reaction at South by Southwest. It's all built around a very clever premise that they can't make any noise. And if you make any noise, something bad's going to happen. Some clever marketing, people that haven't really... Because John Krasinski's never really blown up as a movie star. He's always kind of been a TV guy. But this is his moment to shine because he directed this, he produced this, he stars in it. This is a $17 million film. I'm sure they put a little bit of money into the marketing. A mix of reviews, a good trailer, a terrific premise, and recognizable enough stars all put together resulted in one of the best opening weekends for a horror film. I mean, the only thing that's better than this is It, when It opened to $123 million, which is also another example of a horror film doing great. It opened to $123 million, which was nuts, and made $700 million worldwide. $50 million opening weekend. It may be a quiet film, but it is a loud film with audiences, man. $50 freaking million. What the hell, man? On a $17 million budget. Not as this film. This film has probably already made a profit. $71 million worldwide. No doubt it's already made a profit. In its opening weekend. I would have never predicted this. But they are all jump scare crap. I don't know if I would say jump scare crap, but I kind of get what you mean. You will never be married to Emily Blunt. None of us will. She should have been Black Widow, by the way. They should have stuck with that casting like they originally wanted to. She would have been better than ScarJo. Yes, Twilight Zone incident. Spielberg and John Landis, where Vic Morrow and with the two children got decapitated, where they were filming a helicopter with a live helicopter, past when you were allowed to shoot it, and they were also working with kids past the legal hours that you're allowed to shoot with children. So they broke the law. John Landis went on trial for manslaughter, and was not convicted. And nothing ever happened with him or Spielberg. Nobody ever got in trouble for it, but they did change a lot of things after that. No, it's not a more John Landis thing. Spielberg made the call. People don't know about that. Spielberg made the call. He actually left the night that after it happened. John Landis was crazy for wanting to do it, but Spielberg could have and should have told him not to do it because he was the producer behind that movie. And he okayed it happening, which puts it on him legally, more so than John Landis, in my opinion. Spielberg and Landis are lucky that they did not go to jail, and they're lucky that this was not detrimental to their careers. I mean, because he made Coming to America after that. I'm shocked with all this Me Too stuff, all of this, the past coming out, that nobody's brought up the Twilight Zone incident and Steven Spielberg and John Landis involved. No one's brought it up. There's not been some New York Times piece on it or anything like that. It's just kind of been forgotten about. But yeah, Spielberg was definitely partially to blame. Very much so. And everybody just forgets about it because we only care about sexism. We don't really care about violence. Yeah, no, it's a horrifying video. Oh, no, of course they weren't going to send them to jail. Of course they were going to send them to jail. I mean, John Landis is really lucky he didn't go to jail for that. If somebody did that today on a movie set, what they did if they broke child labor laws and went against the advice of the security, the people running the security, they would go to jail most likely. Yes, they were responsible for the deaths of 2 children. Yes, 2 children died during the Twilight. Nobody knows about this. Yes. Thank you, Hamster Snake. What a great name. What a great name that is. Love your content. Keep up the great work. Go research it. Yeah, nobody knows about it. They just swept it under the rug. It's one of the most forgotten things about the movie industry. I mean, it changed the movie industry. You couldn't really be a guerrilla filmmaker after that. You can watch the footage of it. It's crazy. And it's so useless, too. It was to get this insane shot where they're flying a real helicopter in like a soundstage. And instead of having Vic Morrow carry 2 dummies, which would have worked fine for the shot, they actually had Vic Morrow carry the actual children in his arms during the sequence, and they all died. It's absolute, and they were shooting very late at night. They weren't supposed to be able to shooting with the children. You're only supposed to work with children so many hours. Nobody knows that. Everyone forgets about it. Everybody forgets about it. I don't know. I don't know if it's some... I don't want to go with the Jewish conspiracy theory crap here, but I don't know if Spielberg and John Landis paid people off. I don't know. I don't know how it got forgotten about. Steven Spielberg, it's the most upsetting thing for me about his career, because I love Steven Spielberg, and he wanted to have children when he made E.T. He loved working with the kids, and he's partially very much so responsible, because he was the producer and it was his call, for the death of 2 children. And Vic Morrow was a famous actor, and everyone's forgotten about it, and I'm sure Spielberg thinks about it every day. Max Landis talked about this once. Max Landis said every time he would say something on Twitter, people would come at him about his father. Be like, what about your dad in the Twilight Zone movie? If you actually watch the movie, that's why that segment, John Landis' segment's unfinished, because that's what happened. It was insane. They're flying an actual helicopter above this actor with 2 children. How crazy did you have to be? How crazy do you have to be to film that? And I don't care if it's, we got to get the shot, it's awesome. No. Okay, there's nothing worse than when violence or people get hurt and when something's made for an illusion. Magic tricks are an illusion. Movies are fake. When somebody actually dies and gets harmed for something that's supposed to be fake and be created to give the illusion of reality, of real violence and all that, that's way more horrifying than anything else. If somebody dies doing something that's supposed to create like Tarantino talks about, he doesn't like to see actual fear. He doesn't like to see animals get hurt in movies, because then you're not doing the job. No, Max Landis wasn't the director. He was talking about it because he's John Landis' son. But the thing is, movies are about make-believe. You make people believe the gun's real. You make people believe that someone actually died. You make people believe in the special effects. But when somebody actually gets harmed, when the reality is in the film and it's not a documentary, there's nothing more depressing to me than that. That's horrifying. Because it goes against the entire point. It's like when Friedkin, which I'm not trying to compare him to, he almost killed people filming the car chase scene in The French Connection. They almost killed people doing that. And he says, I don't know what's wrong with me. I wouldn't do that today. Great sequence, but it's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Oh, it's way worse than the Brandon Lee death. It's one of the most tragic things that's ever happened. I'm deaf and I'm shocked about this. God, we really got negative about this, didn't we? No, it's a horrifying thing. The video does look like murder. I know, it looks like a straight-up murder. No, and if I remember correctly, they told Landis and them, we can't shoot this. This is crazy. You cannot fly this helicopter this low. And he's like, I don't give a crap. Let's do it. Let's do it, see? We gotta film the helicopter. I need the shot to look real, okay, kid? If the shot doesn't look real, we won't get it. The people gotta buy into it, people. It's absolutely horrifying. That's the thing, yeah. We watch a movie and we believe that it's real, but it's not. And that's what's so beautiful. But when people actually get hurt and you actually take life, it's not art anymore. It quits being art at that point. It's just real tragedy and real horror. And it's sick. And it really, yeah. I don't know how Spielberg could have authorized it. It was such a bad call. Pat, who was the actor who shot himself in the head with a blank? I don't remember an actor shooting themselves. I remember Brandon Lee got shot because something was stuck in the gun they had because they didn't go fire it to see if it worked before they went and filmed the sequence. But I don't honestly know. Because to John Krasinski's other films, which, didn't really do, Brief Interviews with Hideous Men did 33,000. The Haulers did 1 million. His actual, if you go look at his film career at the box office, nothing that impressive. Worldwide, he hasn't even reached $1 billion. Most of his films that made money were animated films that he just did voice work for. Emily Blunt. Now, she's had a pretty okay career. She's made $2.8 billion worldwide, and she's been in films like Edge of Tomorrow, Devil Wears Prada, Into the Woods, Looper. So she's been in The Girl on the Train, which was very successful. But this is a huge moment for Krasinski. This puts him on the A-list because it's not just a success. Now, here's the question. Get Out got a screenplay Oscar and was nominated for all these awards. This film is well reviewed as Get Out and is going to make more money. Now, is this going to get the Oscar nominations and win stuff like Get Out? I don't think so. I think that's very interesting about the politics. Get Out, how it transcended as a horror comedy and won. Did that just win because of that? And now this film that comes out that's just as well reviewed and making the same kind of money, is this going to be remembered during Oscar time? I don't think so. Is John Krasinski going to get a directing nomination? I don't think so. Yeah. It's not really because the film's successful. Let's never forget how the industry works. Anyway, $71 million worldwide on a $17 million budget. I don't know what there is to say. Even if this has big drops, which I don't expect to happen, this film is going to easily make $100 million, if not $200 million at the domestic box office. It looks like it's going to do well internationally. We're looking at a huge hit here. We have yet to see how huge of a hit, but this is a major success for Paramount, and Paramount's needed a hit. They have not had a hit in a long time, so this is a big deal for everyone involved, the actors, the studio, and for the industry, because Hollywood's always worried about the, less people going to the movies. But this shows you don't have to make a $200 million Marvel movie to get people to show up in the theater, which was also showed with Split and Get Out and other films. This shows that if you make a good movie with good acting, good directing, and a neat premise, you can have a huge opening weekend and that's enough to draw people in. Maybe classic Hollywood marketing isn't dead. Maybe a good premise, high concept, isn't dead. Maybe there's still a little hope left, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, A Quiet Place, terrific opening weekend, wonderfully produced, great decision to make that movie. They honestly couldn't have handled it better. Wonderful, wonderful job there. Let's check where Coco's at worldwide, see if it's got an 800 million in. 790 million, so it's right there. Coco's doing really well. I don't think Last Jedi's done anything. Let's see if Call Me By Your Name's had any increase in the foreign box office. Not really, 38 million. And they screwed up not going wider with that film earlier. They really hurt the momentum of that film. That was like a social network thing, not with the box office. But I think Call Me By Your Name could have won a couple of Oscars and made 100 million worldwide. I really do if they had handled it better. They handled the release of that film horribly. They had this hit movie on their hands. God's Not Dead, A Light in the Darkness, 1.1 million, 4.9 million. I can't wait to go see this film. I love this trilogy. I think this is when you make a B movie and you're not trying to make a B movie. This is what I'm going back to at the beginning. When they make these films, they're not trying to make these bad films. They're trying to make this propaganda as something good. They're trying to put effort in, and the fact they're so terrible and schlocky is what makes them great. That's a truly great B movie, when you're not trying to make a bad movie. It just comes out that way. And that's where the hilarity ensues. You go, how did somebody think this was a good idea? Not when you're intentionally trying to make it that way. You're never going to be able to pull that off. It doesn't work. It's almost a contradiction. Unsane from Steven Soderbergh. Not blown up the box office, but a low-budget film. I think it cost $1 million. $10 million worldwide. Didn't Hulu release this or something? Isn't this going to be on Hulu or Amazon? Not exactly sure. Trying to see if I missed anything here. No, okay, now, as for the comment of the week, I was going to use several comments, but there's just so many of them. No, I haven't heard that Spielberg's going to reboot Indiana Jones as a woman. I had no idea. But there were so many of them on that video, it was just hard for me to go through the comments. It was absolutely ridiculous. There was one that stood out to me, where one guy was criticizing my intro and all that, but I kind of went on a rant about that on Twitter, that it's either the avatar, the intro, your voice, anything. People always criticize something, and they always use the term constructive criticism, which is just their subjective opinion that they think is constructive, which is very silly. And a lot of people don't get that my opening's a parody of YouTube intros. But I understand if that doesn't come across. Maybe that's my fault in not conveying it properly. But there was a few comments that really stood out this week. There was one I really liked, and I just lost it because of the Channel Awful video. Was I one of the comments? I don't know. But there was one comment that was even before that where, God, I'm trying to remember. It was hilarious. It was a funny comment. God, I can't remember. I'm really sorry. I really want to give you guys the comment of the week, but I legit can't remember this comment I had, and I wasn't able to save it because I just have too many comments to go through. That Channel Awesome video got more hits than I thought it would, and I haven't been able to go. I was going to go through the comments today, but I had too much to set up, and I did the show kind of late today, so... Spielberg might have been trying to overcompensate for not having to have kick-ass females in his films. Well, like Marion? Marion's awesome, and, actually, all the chicks in Indiana... Well, Kate Capshaw's pretty annoying. And it wouldn't make any sense to have women in Saving Private Ryan. But I guess that is something he hasn't done. He hasn't had a lot of female characters in his stuff. That is kind of a true. Well, I love the intro music, too. Yeah, that's why it's so long. Yeah, the intro music. I really like the nostalgia cuck. There was so many comments saying, oh, wow, you unironically used the term cuck or unironically used the term... normie. Do I have to overstate the irony? Am I supposed to go cuck in the shadows? And why do I have to use it ironically? Cuck's a great insult. That means I'm saying that guy wants to watch his wife get screwed by a black guy. Why would I say that ironically? I literally think Todd in the Shadows is that way. Yes, I made the intro. Oh, the music? No, that's Sharkfoot. Sorry. I love that people, I so much unironically using this term and all that. Why would I use it ironically? I do think he's a cuck. I think he's an actual cuck. It's a great insult. I'm sorry that these terms that became popular, you guys want to try to start flipping now and going, oh, you have to say it ironically, those terms. No, I'm going to use cuck because it's a wonderful insult. It sounds wonderful. It's the meaning behind it's hilarious. It's a great, normie's a great insult. It means you're a basic bitch. Why wouldn't people use normie? They want you to use it ironically. Why? I think he's a normie. I think he's a cuck. There is no irony there. Like, why? I'm not just saying it for humor. It's how I actually feel. It's like if I called someone an asshole or a dickwad or something like that. I wouldn't be saying it ironically. I would actually be saying it. Cuck supposedly a right-wing insult, which makes you... Yeah, that's the thing. They think that if you don't use... Like, it's lost its meaning or something. I don't know when this happened, that the internet terminology doesn't hold up. I didn't get this memo. I didn't get this memo that cuck wasn't an insult we couldn't use anymore. I didn't know that was a thing. Frasier, my wife's a basic bitch. That's funny, dude. Yeah, there was a lot of comments like that. The Channel Awful video really was a lot of ridiculous comments. They were saying, how can you talk about production value with when your whole thing is just images? I go, because I didn't have $90,000 like Doug did, and we make different kind of content. Go watch my Kylo Show video. That looks as good as Channel Awesome stuff, and I made that for nothing. And then there was a lot of people mad at me for talking about James Rolfe, even though I'm a big fan, even though I think the criticism was valid. About my main point, about how we lost the war against the mainstream. And then so many people, talking about how the unironic... That was very annoying. It was just like, what? What? So now everyone used to say cuck and stuff. Now we have to say it ironically. So I guess it just keeps flip-flopping. Well, here's what I have to say. If you feel that way, you're a cuck yourself. And snowflake I can get... I never really liked the term snowflake, though, anyway. It's not that funny. Cuck's funny. Cuck will always be funny. Your movie Sooks didn't like A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place was somehow more flawed and infuriating than Ready Player One. I don't know. Sometimes I don't agree with him big time. But that's his opinion. He could feel the way he does. Maybe I won't like the movie. Yeah, Jim Norton. Yeah, it's a great insult. Why would we change that? No, thank you. No, thank you at all. What's up, homies? There was one great comment. I'm sorry I can't remember it. Damn it, that was so funny. On one of my... Oh, yeah, I remember it now. It was about that I didn't understand cultural appropriation. It was on the Isle of Cultural Appropriation video. People were saying... He said, I didn't understand. I go, yes, I understand it. And he said, you said most Asians don't care. And I said, well, yeah, that's backed up by statistics. We know that people in Asia... And I said, you must know nothing about Asia... Which is fine. Statistically, there's been stats about this, that they don't care about cultural appropriation and they don't care how they're represented. And I said that there's only 6% of Asians in the U.S. population. Well, then he came back to me and said, oh, very convenient that you ignored the you saying most Asians don't care argument. And I didn't ignore it. He thought when I said stats, I was talking about the 6% thing. He didn't know that I meant statistics actually from Asia and places like Japan. Which also, if you just have any common knowledge of Japan or China, you know they don't give a damn about this stuff. So he kept saying, most white people are racist. Comment of the week's a thing I do where I pick out a comment of the week. And I talk about it for fun. And then the guy kept coming back at me saying, most white people are racist. What he was trying to do was use my words against me, saying, well, look, most white people don't care about being called racist. What he was trying to say is most white people do care about being called racist. Just like I made a blanket statement, most Asians don't care. But here's the thing. Mine was backed up by statistics, but he was too stupid to get that and didn't understand what I was saying because he had no comprehension skills. So then I had to just agree with him and go, you know what? Even if that's not true, most white people shouldn't care about being called racist because someone's subjective opinion of you being racist means absolutely nothing. Japanese love when you use elements. They do, totally. And this is common knowledge. This is common knowledge, and they're some of the biggest appropriators of Western culture out there, and people don't... It was just ignorance. And he thought I was making a blanket statement. I know that I was asking if you're going to do one. This is basically the one I'm doing. I'm just not going to be able to dig it up because it was so deep in the comments section. I was having a hard time finding it. But that was the one that I wanted because he was just saying I didn't get cultural appropriation. All that's like, dude, I totally get it. It's just a bullshit criticism, and it doesn't hold up against the Asian community. And me saying most Asians don't care is backed up. It's like when the Redskins thing. They did a poll to Native Americans, and 90% of them said they don't care about the team being named the Redskins, yet all these white people still come out and say that they need to change the name and it's racist. You don't get to speak for a whole race of people because you feel sensitive. And also, I would say to it right now, I wish white people didn't care about being called racist. Because his point was it was such a stupid trying to win an argument tactic. Japanese just don't like when you coming to their country. Yeah, which is fine. If they don't want immigrants and they don't want people in there, that's fine. They have every right to be nationalistic. They can do what they want. I don't care. But it was so funny because that counterpoint was like, most white people don't care, as if they do. It's like, I wish more white people didn't care about being called racist. I don't care. I've been called a racist every day since I've started YouTube, and I don't give a damn. Just because you say it doesn't mean it's true. Just because you're offended doesn't mean you have a point. I don't have to agree with your subjective view of the world, your subjective morality. Eat my asshole out with the spoon. Notice how when you debunk the whole cultural appropriation argument by mentioning that Japan doesn't care, then they switch the topic to Asian Americans? I know. Which is only, I think, 5-6% of the population is Asian American. I know. No, of course, when you bring up that Asia doesn't care, then they have to try to nitpick and go to little things. It's like, I'm sorry, I debunked it. It's been debunked many, many times. The cultural appropriation argument holds no water anymore in modern day. You might have had a point with African Americans in the music industry, but all art and culture has been appropriated. Everything gets appropriated. That's how culture survive and live on. Someone asked me this once on Twitter. They go, what other group of people have created an art form and doesn't get to dictate who it doesn't get to dictate how that art form is used? And my response was very simple. Every artist or anyone who's ever created any original form of art throughout history. Michael Jackson stole the moonwalk. The guy who created the moonwalk doesn't get credit for it. Everything gets stolen and taken from other people, and the person who originally created it doesn't have any say in it. That's how art works. Every artist has done this ever. It's such a ridiculous thing. It's just common sense. Who doesn't get to control the art they create? Everyone has to deal with that. That's part of putting your stuff out there into the public. Holy crap. Okay, folks. All right, this is the end of the show, folks. I think we've gone in a little long here, folks. Okay, longer than I wanted. 1 hour and 48 minutes, folks. So thank you for tuning in to Box Office Addict. Please get Blue Apron, folks. Okay. All right, gang. Okay? Anyway, sorry if I was a little cruel. Sorry if I came off a little egotistical. I just have a lot of energy today. Maybe I drank too much coffee. Maybe I got to stick up my butt from the comments. The weather's been screwing with me a little bit. I don't want you guys to think I'm some jerk. I'd like for you guys to think I'm a nice guy. At least for you guys to believe that, even if it's not true. You know, it helps. But thank you for watching. If you do watch this show, you're probably a box office addict yourself. And I'm not here to help you with your addictions. I'm here to encourage them, quite frankly. I want you to have your addictions. Yes, consume and react to it. Very true, Noel. Noel, my protege. I've taken Nolan as my young protege, and we have lots of conversations on Twitter. It's funny how in America I'm considered a conservative with few exceptions, and in my country I'm a red commie. That's hilarious. Where have you been the entire... I've been busy. I've been busy, folks. Okay? I've been hanging out with my wife, who's a doctor. She's a doctor. And the idea that you think that I have to keep showing up to advertise Blue Apron on this show that I make no money off of because I'm Ben Shapiro is pretty ridiculous. So I'm going to go play my violin. Okay? But I appreciate you guys all watching. I love you guys so much. You're awesome. 8,000 subscribers. We did it, baby. We did it. We got this. We got this by the ass. I love Noel. I love Bathory. I love Fallen Angel. I love Fraser Danger, the newest moderator, since Blood Money never shows up anymore. Jesus Christ. He's like the stepchild that I regret marrying this chick and having because he's a little jerk. I love you, Crazy Chameleon. I love all of you. Can I be your prodigy as well? Sure, why not? I love you, Zero Night X. Yes, his sister's cute, Ben Shapiro. Craig Thompson, I love you, man. All of you guys, everyone in the chat, you're all awesome. Child of the Flower, I think's her name. All of you guys are great. Thank you to all the new subscribers. 10K is next, people. We're gonna get there this summer. I have some big videos planned, and you guys have all made this possible. I'll see you next Sunday for another kick-ass Box Office Addict. I hope you guys had a good time, and I just want you to know that even I don't think Blood Money does have one. I want you guys to know that any of the stuff I did this week or any week that comes off asshole, I'm just doing it for humor because I find that stuff funny. It's kind of like a stand-up bit. You have to be hyper confident to keep the audience in control here. So I'm not actually this way. It's just for fun. So I just want you guys to know that. But I love you guys. You guys are great. If you guys weren't here, I wouldn't do this. I do this on Sundays because of you guys. That's the point. You too, Rod, and I hope you get better, my friend. I hope you get better. All thanks to the All Might himself above. Yes, thank you, God, Ben Shapiro, our Jewish God. I feel pumped up now, too. We're all pumped up, baby. We got it. We got it, baby. Hey, Pat, what should I watch tonight? Red Player One or Isle of Dogs? Isle of Dogs, between those two, pick, for sure, my friend. For sure. All right, guys, I'll see you guys. I'll give you guys the outro music. As always, this is Sharkfoot. This is the song that I put on here exclusively for Box Office Addict because I wanted it to have its own song. This is Carnival from Sharkfoot. Please go subscribe to his channel, Sharkfoot_. You are an addict, baby, and I'm your pusher man. I love it. And thank you for Fraser. And by the way, guys, please go subscribe to Fraser Danger's channel. He does some great shit posting. Yeah, I'm not actually a jerk in real life. I'm almost too nice. It's almost a flaw I have, I think. I wish I could be more of an a-hole in real life. My life would be a lot easier, I think. But I'll give you guys the outro music. Please go subscribe to Fraser Danger. Do not forget to go subscribe to Cult Film Video, which I will be appearing on his channel this summer. And if you want this shirt, the link will be in the description. And fans never forget on teespring.com. And here's the shirt again real quick. And thank you, Cult Film Video, for being a sponsor of Box Office Addict. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody who watches this show. So that's it. I'll give them a look-see. And you guys are the fire, man. You guys are the fire. I may have the match, but you guys are the flame that keeps burning after I light the match. Oh, and then there's a candle, huh? It all connects. Get it? It all connects, baby.